Welcome everybody. Let's talk about what we need for this course, how this course is set up, and what you're going to be, well, what you should expect in the course. So first things first is you need Xcode. Now Xcode is a program where you can basically make any kind of application for any Mac system. So you want to make something for iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, TV, the Apple TV, or even this iMac here or MacBook Pro. If you want to make apps, the best program to use is Xcode. It's a very robust program. Now, having said that, it's so robust that if you were to make a simple app that plays sounds, or you were contracted by the US government to make a top secret application that's super complicated, you would use Xcode. So it's a very intricate program. You can use quite a bit of different functions in it. And having said that, we'll be going over a lot of what you need to know for Xcode, but by no means will every single little thing be covered. Because one thing that you need to understand is that, again, since it's so complicated, if I were to go over every single little thing, it would be like 100 or 250 hours in the course, and it wouldn't be fun, and frankly, it wouldn't be practical. So I'm going to make sure that you know the best stuff in Xcode so that you can make your app as quickly as possible. All right, so just keep that in mind. Now, you can go and you can download Xcode here. Now, if you're on a PC, there are ways to get Xcode working on a PC. However, it's not very efficient, and frankly, I just recommend getting a Mac. You can always rent Macs, and you can actually get refurbished Macs. If you want to make apps for the App Store, I would just get a Mac. It's much, much better. So if you're on a PC at this point in time, just make sure that you should get access to a Mac. It works a lot better. Now you can either download it here, or you can go to the App Store here. Now, I always just go to the App Store and I just download everything there. I think that's a much better way of doing it personally. Okay, so once you download Xcode, and it's fairly big, so you can see that it is, in this case, well, 3.8 gigabytes. That seems to be going up and up as Xcode gets bigger and bigger. I remember when it used to be 2 gigabytes. All right, so you just keep that in mind that it might take a while to download. So start downloading it now if you haven't. Okay, so let's take a look at the way this specific course is set up. Now, this specific course is set up on Udemy because Udemy has a lecture limit of 550 lectures. And in order to fit in all the content, I had to get a video editor to edit it. Now, the way this works is that every single little app that you build, like let's say it's a tip calculator, is divided into roughly 15 to 20 minute videos. And at the beginning of each video, you will see the name of it, as well as you'll see a little intro as to what the next section is. So in a video of, let's say, 20 minutes, there might be 4 or 5 sections, and that section has a little video editor. So you can always scrub through and find the exact editor here. Now, again, this is just because Udemy has a lecture limit. In reality, this course has something like 1,000 lectures, but I couldn't put that on. So I had to format it. And it's the same content, just formatted a little bit differently. So you want to make sure that you understand that here. And the positive thing is that I can add in more videos than I could previously. So the other thing you have to understand is that Udemy also has a 20-minute lecture limit. All right, so and sometimes you're allowed to go over that, but again, they have a lecture limit, so I had to make sure that my videos were indeed complying with that. So, having said all that, what you're going to be learning in this course is you're going to be learning a lot of practical knowledge right away. So there is a header section where you kind of learn about iOS and Swift, and then you start making apps right away. Now, this is super important because if you want to get good at making apps, what 99% of all other coding courses, including like a computer engineering or a computer science degree, doesn't tell you is that there is a bit of muscle memory when it comes to building apps, and especially there is with Xcode. So it's not muscle memory like, like for example, a basketball player, needs to learn how to jump. It's more attuned to, let's say, a piano player. Now, in Xcode, there's a lot of dragging, and you have to kind of think about how to do an action really quickly. So all of these apps that I've set up for you are designed in such a way that you can do an action quickly. So like for instance, if you need to design an app, you can just simply drag everything out as quickly as you possibly can and then make sure your app gets done as quickly as possibly can. Since I've developed so many apps, I have to tell you that if you're struggling on the basics, it will take much, much longer. So take it from me, who's released a ton of apps, from a person who's released a ton of apps in his life, that if you learn how the repetitive actions quickly, the app process goes by much quicker. So when I go and I make my apps, my mouse is moving really fast and I'm trying to do everything as quickly as possible. There's a sense of urgency to get on the App Store because I have this saying where while you're not releasing an app, someone else is. And you want to make sure that your app gets to the App Store as quickly as possible. So having said that, there is a bit of repetition between the projects so that you learn this kind of speed when it comes to building apps. So for instance, if we build an app, let's say it's like a tip calculator, and then the next is a compound interest calculator, there's going to be some overlap. There's always going to be some overlaps if you're using kind of the same process here. And the reason is that every app is supposed to be kind of self-contained. So if I, for example, show you how to do one thing, and then the next app, I don't show you how to do that, people are going to get confused because someone might skip to that app. So having said that, there is a process that needs to go. So imagine if you went to IKEA and you purchased 5 tables. Well, and in 5 different tables, there would be some parts of the process that would be the same, but at the end you'd have 5 different tables. You want to think of these apps kind of like that. Now, having said that, there is a great variety of apps and games within this tutorial series. So it's not like there's a ton of repetition. Just keep in mind that there's a little bit of repetition. All right. So having said all that, I want to make sure that you guys know and learn as much as you possibly can when it comes to making apps. And this course is set up for you to do that here, okay? And if you're looking for my advice, if you're just kind of coming in to this, you should probably get a simple app to the App Store as fast as you can. That if you want to become an app developer, just do that. Even if it's like a simple tip calculator or something like that, release something simple, but release something a little bit different that's in the marketplace. Just release something simple, and I guarantee you the students who do that will be farther along, 6 months and a year from now. All right. And lastly, this course is meant for beginners. 95% of people in this course right now have never coded, and most of them probably haven't even heard of Xcode. So keep in mind that that is the audience that I'm speaking to. So, for example, when you teach programming concepts to beginners, sometimes you do it a little bit differently than if you teach it to advanced students. Not always, but there is certain times where I have purposely simplified it down so it's easier to understand. Now, if I were in an advanced course, I would make it a little bit different, but most of the time it's the same thing. Now, having said that, again, if you have coded before, some of this stuff might be a bit too basic for you. Just keep that in mind that, if you've coded before in any language, by the way, it might be a bit too basic for you, but at the same time, again, most of the people that take this are complete beginners, and I would rather have people say that it's too slow than it's too fast. All right, 100%. And if you're finding it too slow, you can always speed up the video. You can do that. So I always watch videos at 1.5 times the speed. Make sure you're on the HTML5 player, okay? So now that we've gone over the course requirements and everything, let's hop into the course.